Dinosaur Dino, covered in large green scales, would wake up every morning and look up at the sky and wonder how far away the stars were. Wise Owl, with his wide wings and sparkling blue feathers, loved to watch the stars as he flew at night. While walking around the forest on his strong legs, Dinosaur Dino asked Wise Owl, whose blue feathers shone, "Wise, would you like to go to the stars?" Wise Owl, looking at Dino with his big eyes among his blue feathers, said excitedly, "Of course! The stars look so beautiful. I'd like to see them up close." Dinosaur Dino, covered in large green scales, liked the idea very much and started to build a rocket with his strong arms. Wise Owl, flying with his blue feathers, helped Dino with his big eyes and put the pieces together. "Are you ready, Bilge?" asked Dino the dinosaur, as he tightened the final screws of the rocket with his powerful claws. Bilge the owl, his blue feathers shining brightly, turned his big eyes to Dino and replied, "I'm ready!" Dinosaur Dino, covered in green scales, entered the rocket and took its place with its strong feet. Gliding with its blue feathers, Wise Owl controlled the controls with its small claws. As the rocket took off, Dinosaur Dino's strong arms kept the rocket in balance. As he soared through the sky, Dinosaur Dino, covered in large green scales, thought about how fascinating it was to fly among the stars. Gliding gently among his blue feathers, Wise Owl watched the planets with his large eyes. While balancing the rocket with his powerful legs, Dinosaur Dino called out, "Look, Wise Man, there's the moon!" Wise Man Owl, his blue feathers shining in the moonlight, looked at the moon with admiration with his big eyes. The rocket landed on the moon with Dinosaur Dino's strong claws. Owlwise, who landed lightly on the moon's surface with his blue feathers, began to explore the surroundings with his big eyes. Dinosaur Dino walked on the moon's surface with his big feet and said, "This place is really cool, Wise." Wise Owl, whose blue feathers were slightly covered with the dust of the moon, noticed with his big eyes that there were no trees on the moon. Dinosaur Dino shook his green scales slightly and said, "Maybe we should plant our own trees here." During their time on the moon, they watered a small sapling that Dinosaur Dino had planted with his strong arms. Wise Owl, floating gently with his blue feathers, watched the sapling grow with his big eyes. When it was time to return, Dinosaur Dino, covered in large green scales, started the rocket again. Wise Owl, his blue feathers shining brightly, looked at the stars with his big eyes one last time. When they returned to Earth, Dinosaur Dino's strong arms gently lowered the rocket. Wise Owl, with his blue feathers shining, looked at his friend with his big eyes and said, "This was the greatest adventure of my life." "Yes, Wise Man, many more adventures await us," said Dino the dinosaur, covered in large green scales, with a broad smile. Wise Man the owl, his blue feathers fluttering softly, smiled with his big eyes and said, "Absolutely!